This conference is about finding the main idea. So I'm going to use this PowerPoint to take you through some exercises in finding the main idea. The main idea of a paragraph or of a passage is the point that the author wants to make. To find the main idea, keep these two key words in mind: about and point. So when we're thinking about, we're thinking, what is this about? And when we're thinking point, we're thinking, what's the point? As you read, ask yourself, what is this about? Your answer will give you the topic of the paragraph or of the passage. Next, ask yourself, what is the point about this topic? So say, for example, if it was about dogs, what is the point about dogs? Your answer will give you the details. So if we're using my example of dogs, what are some of the details that the author is giving about dogs? So questions to help you get to the point. What are some details? And then importantly, what do the details have in common? Then ask yourself, is there a sentence in the passage that says this? Go back and look for a sentence that tells you what the paragraph is about and what the point is. That sentence is the main idea. The main idea is often a sentence right in the paragraph. Often the main sentence is the very first sentence in the paragraph, so you want to keep that in mind. This is called the topic sentence. The main idea, a topic sentence, can be the last sentence of a paragraph. Sometimes the main idea is a sentence in the middle of the paragraph. Don't worry if the topic sentence is there, it's not hard to find. Keep in mind those two words, about and point. So let's practice finding the main idea. As you read, use our two key words, about, what is this about? Point, what's the point? Okay, so I'm going to read this aloud. Poppy is my puppy, and she's afraid of everything. Last month, she hid under the couch for a week after she saw me in my snowsuit. Last week, she wouldn't go for a walk because there was a spider in the doorway. Yesterday, Poppy ran away from her toy ball. Today, Poppy is afraid to drink because the water bowl made a splashing noise. So, what is this about? And hopefully after listening and reading, you're going to say it's about a puppy named Poppy. So let's look at the paragraph again to get some details. What's the information that we have about Poppy? Poppy is my puppy and she's afraid of everything. Last month, she hid under the couch for a week after she saw me in my snowsuit. Last week, she wouldn't go for a walk because there was a spider in the doorway. Yesterday, Poppy ran away from her toy ball. Today, Poppy is afraid to drink because the water bowl made a splashing noise. So some details about Poppy are, and here I wrote them down, but you would be thinking this. Poppy hid under the bed. She's afraid of a snowsuit. Poppy wouldn't go out the door for a walk because she's afraid of a spider in the doorway. Poppy ran away from her toy ball. Poppy's afraid of splashing water in the water bowl, in her water bowl. So what do the details have in common? All of these details that I just said about Poppy, what do they have in common? The details about Poppy have in common is they're all talking about things Poppy is afraid of, right? So is there a sentence that says that? Is there a topic sentence that says something about Poppy being afraid? And yes, let's look at the very first sentence. Poppy is my puppy and she's afraid of everything. All the rest of the information in this paragraph is giving you details about that first topic sentence. So the main idea is the first sentence of the paragraph. Poppy is my puppy, and she's afraid of everything. So boom, you found the main idea. Okay, let's try another. As you read, remember our two key words. About, ask yourself, what is this about? And point, what's the point? What is motion? Consider a ball that you notice one morning in the middle of the lawn. Later in the afternoon, you notice that the ball is at the edge of the lawn against a fence, and you wonder if the wind or some person moved the ball. You do not know if the wind blew it at a steady rate, if one huge gust blew it, or even if a child kicked it across the yard. All you know for sure is that the ball has moved because it's in a different place now than it was earlier. These are the two important aspects of motion. One, a change of position, and two, the passage of time. So what is this about? It's a little bit longer passage, but without rereading it, you might say it's something about motion, something about a ball that is moving. And what is the point about motion? What are some details that the passage gives us? So let's look again. Now we're thinking about what are the details? What is motion? Consider a ball that you notice one morning in the middle of the lawn. Later in the afternoon, you notice that the ball is at the edge of the lawn against a fence, and you wonder if the wind or some person moved the ball. You do not know if the wind blew it at a steady rate, if one huge gust blew it, or even if a child kicked it across the yard. All you know for sure is that the ball has moved because it's in a different place now than it was earlier. These are the two important aspects of motion. One, a change of position, and two, the passage of time. So what's the point of, motion? What are the details? Here are some details that I collected. The first sentence talks about motion. A ball starts off in one place in the morning. By afternoon, the ball moves. Did a child move it? Did one wind gust move it? Did the wind continually move it across the yard? So what do all those details have in common? What's the point that the author is telling us about motion? It's talking about motion. It's talking about a ball moving from one place to another, from morning to afternoon, and how that happened. The ball moves over time. So what is the point about all of this information? Is there a sentence that states that? Is there a topic sentence? So here's the passage again. We're looking to see if there's a topic sentence. So I'm looking at the first sentence. What is motion? The first sentence doesn't give enough information. So is there a topic sentence? Let's look at the last sentence. We have the first sentence, what is motion? And then all the rest are giving me details. And then the last sentence says, these are the two important aspects of motion. One, a change of position, and two, the passage of time. In this paragraph, all of the other sentences build up to the last sentence. The topic sentence, the main idea, is the last sentence. And here it is. Now, another big point for you to know in this particular paragraph is that when you see a sentence like this that has 1 and 2, it's probably going to be the topic sentence because it is summarizing the entire paragraph in this final sentence. So you found the main idea. Okay, we're going to look at 2 more examples of finding the main idea. What are those 2 key words we're going to use? About. What is this about? And point. What's the point? So here's the next paragraph. Are you confused by your holiday leftovers? Well, don't save any food that has been sitting around on your dining room table or counters for more than 2 hours after cooking. Don't place the leftovers in the refrigerator while they are still warm. Don't waste those turkey scraps. Add them to a salad or make a delicious soup. There are many strategies that you should use when dealing with holiday leftovers. You can even pool your leftovers with friends and neighbors by having an after-holiday potluck dinner. Okay, so obviously this isn't talking about something you would be doing right now in sheltering in place. But leaving that aside, what is this about? It's about leftovers, and it's about holiday leftovers. So what's the point about leftovers? What are some details? All right, so we're going to look at it. So we've established that it's about holiday leftovers. What are some details about the holiday leftovers? Well, don't save any food that's been sitting around on your dining room table or counters for more than 2 hours after cooking. Don't place the leftovers in the refrigerator while they are still warm. Don't waste those turkey scraps. Add them to a salad or make a delicious soup. There are many strategies that you should do when dealing with holiday leftovers. You can even pool your leftovers with friends and neighbors by having an after-dinner potluck dinner. So what is the point? What are the details? Some details would be you shouldn't leave food out too long if you're going to save it. You shouldn't put leftovers away warm. You can put scraps into soups or salads. And the last suggestion was that you could even get together with neighbors and put all of your leftovers together. So if we're looking at these, what do these all have in common? What's the point about holiday leftovers? So the point is that there's a bunch of things to do with leftovers. In fact, there's a bunch of things that this paragraph says you should do with leftovers. And is there a sentence that says this? So let's go back and look. And in this case, there is a sentence and it's in the middle. There are many strategies that you should use when dealing with holiday leftovers. So here's the main idea. In this passage, the main idea was a middle sentence in the paragraph. So once you have thought about what is it about, you've collected details, and what is that they have in common, then you're going back and looking at that paragraph to see if it is stated. And again, you found the main idea. So we have found the main idea in the first sentence, the last sentence, and a middle sentence of a paragraph. However, sometimes the main idea is implied. There is no topic sentence. If the author doesn't give the reader a topic sentence stating the main idea, how do we know what it is? You need to determine the main idea yourself. Don't worry, you're going to use the two key words, about and point, to determine the main idea yourself, which you actually have been doing in all of the other practices that we've been doing. To state the main idea, you're going to create a sentence that tells the author's point about the topic. So let's try finding the implied main idea. You're going to be thinking about and point. When you're with your friends, it's okay to be loud and use slang. They'll expect it, and they aren't grading you on your grammar. When you're sitting for an interview, you should use your best English possible and keep your tone suitable to the working environment. Try to gauge the setting and the interviewer before cracking jokes during an interview. If you're in a position to speak publicly, always ask about your audience and modify your language and topic based on what you think the audience will prefer. What is this about? So one thing that I haven't mentioned so far, but that I would strongly recommend is sometimes we need to read things paragraphs 1 or 2 times to start to get the idea of what it is about. So we're going to look at this again to get an idea of what is this about. When you're with your friends, it's okay to be loud and use slang. They'll expect it and they aren't grading you on your grammar. When you're sitting for an interview, you should use your best English possible and keep your tone suitable, excuse me, to the working environment. Try to gauge the setting and the interviewer before cracking jokes during an interview. If you're in a position to speak publicly, always ask about your audience and modify your language and topic based on what you think the audience will prefer. So what is this about? It's about speaking. It's about talking, right? So what are some details that it gives us about speaking? So looking back again, it's about speaking. It's about speaking with your friends in the first sentence. And then going on to the next sentence is talking about speaking in an interview. And at the very last sentence is talking about speaking publicly. So some details would be people use slang with their friends, and use your best English in an interview, and know your audience if you speak publicly. So those are the details. Now we're looking at this and thinking, what do these details, people use slang, use your best English in an interview, know your audience if you speak publicly. What are they all saying about our topic, which is speaking? What do they all have in common? What is the point that the author is making about speaking? So we're going to summarize what I just said. And my summary was, yours might be a little bit different. It's all about how you talk or speak in different situations. So all of those details are talking about different ways that you speak in different situations. So now we're going to create a sentence, a topic sentence that says the author's point about speaking differently in different situations. So the main idea that I came up with, yours might be just a little bit different, is people speak differently depending on whom they are speaking to. You might say people speak differently in different situations, something that is getting that idea across. And you found the main idea. So the big ideas for finding the main idea are, use our 2 key words. If you keep that in mind, okay, I've got to think what this is about, and then what is the point, you will get to the main idea. Look in the passage to see if there's a topic sentence that states the main idea. Maybe the first sentence, it may be the last sentence. At times, it's the sentence in the middle. And sometimes there is no topic sentence. So then you are going to use the information you have and make your own. When you have found the main idea. And that's all the information about finding the main idea.